Hello, beloved consumers. Thank you for joining me for Uniconfessions. I'm doing this little intro for this video because it could potentially be seen as a little bit insensitive, and I want to take this time to really emphasize that any time that you've experienced pain or illness, whether it be social, emotional, or physical, it's not because you called it in upon yourself, or even because I don't even know about like karma and stuff like that. I'm not even worried about that. We live in a really dark reality, and it's getting lighter, but it's been really dark for a long time. And when we're children and when we're born and when we're, a lot of the times when we go through our lives, we're really passive and we don't necessarily take control over our reality. And so when you don't take control over your reality, you're passive and you let the world affect you. Well, that would be fine if we lived in Unitopia, but we don't live in Unitopia. We live in a really detrimental, poisonous reality in all those ways. So the reason why I'm doing this intro is to tell you that the pain that you've experienced is not your fault. The illness that you've experienced is because the world at large is detrimental, and all the suffering and pain that you've been through up until this point is completely valid and unfair. It is unfair. But when you take responsibility for your own healing, you bring the vibration of the planet up a lot. I truly believe we can heal anything. I believe that we can heal things in individual lifetimes. I believe we can heal things over several years so that the earth is no longer poisoning people, so that we're not poisoning the earth and ourselves with chemicals or with thoughts. But I want to emphasize as well that there is this idea of a healing community. And so you have a lot of power to heal yourself and to heal others in your own reality, in your own heart. But I really want to emphasize that it takes a community of humans who are dedicated to true healing to do the types of things that I'm talking about. And the more people you can surround yourself, the more true healers that you can surround yourself with, the easier it will be for you to heal from your ailments. And the easier it will be for us all to heal the physical reality and all of that. So you can heal anything. I want to emphasize it's not always just you. We need to work on this as a community. And here is how. Uni bless. Hello, beloved consumers. Thank you for joining me for Uniconfessions. My name is Unicole Unicron, and it is my honor to have your attention. Today, we're going to be talking about how to heal anything and resolve any conflict. And I could just sum it up in saying you can heal anything and resolve any conflict. All you have to do is want to. Now you might be feeling kind of frustrated and offended at that concept, I understand. So we're going to talk about the specifics of the difference between emotional issues, physical issues, and how to resolve conflicts. So emotional issues are the easiest thing to attack here because they are all within your own mind and your own body and your own psyche. And you can heal them yourself. You don't need the help of anybody else, though you can seek out the help of a healer, a psychiatrist, or a friend to listen to you, or a psychic, or a counselor, or a life coach, a spiritual life coach. There's lots of really good ones. Krista Risa gives really good readings, Christina Martin. I also do life coaching, so you can find out these spiritual counselors depending on your emotional issue, depending on what you value, and you can find people who resonate with you and who will help you rise up into a state of joy from your darkness. So the reason why you're in pain is because you want to be, and you're probably saying, F off, Unicole, I don't want to be, that's why I'm watching this video. And I get that. What I'm trying to say is that you are valuing a part of the darkness of your psyche. You are valuing whatever pain you're in, whatever emotional difficulty you're in. You are finding either protection, comfort, or value. Maybe I know that when I had depression, I thought of it as an intellectual thing. I thought that in order to be smart, there was depression was involved with intelligence. I thought that was the case. So I valued my depression because I thought it connected me to an intellectual realm of thinking, an intellectual way of being. I probably read too much Dostoevsky or something. You can be smart and not be sad, and that to me now is obvious, but to me back then it wasn't. And I probably wouldn't have even known what I'm talking about now without that kind of understanding. So you are holding on to an aspect of your negativity, of your psyche, whatever your dependency is, even addiction falls under this category, because you are doing it because you want to. You have total control over your reality, especially your emotional reality. If you feel like you can't change, then you can't change, because it's all coming from within you. But if you start to believe that you can change, which you can, then you can. That's all that it takes. Belief. So to heal any psychic, emotional, addiction, sociological understanding in your own mind, anxiety, depression, agoraphobia, borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia even, you have to realize that you have that because you value it. Maybe you didn't get it because you value it, but you still have it plaguing you because you value parts of it. You think it's going to protect you, whatever else. As you rise up into a state of joy and love, you realize that that love actually protects you, and that joy actually protects you, and that there's much more value to be had in those things than in the darker realities. But you have to let go of your attachment to those darker realities before you can acquire the good ones. It's a really huge trust situation. You really have to just believe that you will find what you're looking for, what you need. You will be fulfilled in the higher realm of being, and you have to let go your attachment to saying that you can't, saying that you won't, saying that it's hard, saying that it's bad and the world sucks. All that, you have to let it go and let it just float away from you, and you have to look higher and reach for something higher and believe that you can reach it, and you will. That's all it takes. Literally, that's all it takes. Time, dedication, of course, are essential components. It's going to take a long time. You're going to have cyclical thinking. Your brain is wired in a way to keep thinking in those negative thoughts. You have to just deny them over and over and over again. But if you want to, in your heart, if you stay dedicated to the desire to grow and become fulfilled and heal, you will. Physical ailments. This is a tricky one, because people who have physical ailments did not call them upon themselves. They do not continue to have them because they are valuing it. In some cases, yes. A lot of times we get sick because we need people to take care of us, because we're at a place where we are not, the burden of life is too hard, and we don't know how to verbalize it. We don't know how to ask for help, and so our body takes it on, and it manifests into physical illness or physical disability or chronic illness or something like that. And then we are forced to ask for help from other people. That's a possibility that could be happening in your life. Also, pain, a lot of times, is telling you something. Look up Louise Hay and look up her emotional reasons for pain in different parts of the body. If you have pain in a part of your body and you look up the emotional reason for it, really look deep inside yourself and find out, is that emotional aspect, could it potentially be causing me pain? You can look inside your own physical body and you can find the pain, and you can ask the pain a question. You can say, why do you exist? What are you trying to tell me? And it takes different types of meditation to find out this information from different types of pain. Ask it throughout your day. Every time your pain alerts you, say, what do you want? You will find an answer. And if you can make the changes that your pain is telling you to make, then you probably will experience it to dissipate. Physical stuff also comes from physical reality, which is outside of our control and not based on anything that you wanted or asked for or can change. Physical reality is directly tied to our consciousness as a collective, and our consciousness as a collective is another aspect of this healing. So these things are all tied together. When you heal yourself of your emotional issues, you help heal the psyche of the world. And when you help heal the psyche of the world, physical reality gets better. It's all interlocked. You might not believe that, but it's true. Everything's energy, and we are all interacting with each other, and we are actually changing the world as we think, as we speak, as we create, as we are. And so the first thing to do is always to take care of your emotional state of being and to heal that, to want to heal that. Then whatever you're feeling physically in physical pain, address it. Want to heal it. Recognize the benefits that you may be getting from the pain, from the physical ailment. You might have the worst situation in the world physically, but you still might be finding some benefit in it. There's benefit in everything. Recognize the benefit in that situation. And don't feel so sorry about it. See the good in it. It's hard to do, but if you want to heal, that is the way to do it. Then understand that the collective reality feeds into the physical reality. You might not be able to heal your body or your mind in this life. I believe that you can, but the work that you do to believe in healing feeds into our psyche and feeds into our global consciousness, feeds into the physical reality, feeds into everybody's personal reality. It's this huge loop of healing. So all you have to do to heal is to want to. And all we have to do on the planet to want to heal, or to heal, is to want to. And then all these other things will fall into line. There will be less physical illness. There will be less physical trauma. There will be less death. We don't need all of that physical darkness, but it exists because it's a reflection of our psyche. This is all a little far-fetched, I know. But I truly believe that it's the way that the world works. So know that a community of healers, which starts with you as an individual, a community of healers can create profound healing change. When you want to heal and you can encourage other people to want to heal, and then you get a group of people who want to heal themselves, the world, the physical reality, the physical ailments, the physical illness, and they focus on true healing. And I don't mean profit-driven bullshit. I mean true healing where everyone is healed because we understand that we are all one. When we understand that we are all one, we don't want to take from somebody and keep them down. We want to lift them up so they can be on our level, and then they are going to rise up and they want to lift us up. That's how true healing happens. So the way that we can heal anything, any injustice, any pain, any hardship, any illness, even death, is by wanting to heal. The other aspect of this, like I was saying before, is to resolve any conflict. You can resolve any conflict with anyone, and that, again, just depends on you wanting to. The issue with conflict is that it's usually between two parties, and the other person needs to want to as well. Let's say that you have a conflict that the other person does not want for you to resolve. They don't want to resolve it. They think it's, you cannot resolve the conflict. If you stay true to the peaceful belief that you can resolve the conflict, that is a good step. And the other thing is to resolve it within yourself. So it's true you need two people, two parties, to resolve a conflict. But the work that you can do to resolve the conflict within your own psyche, the better it'll be. So a tip that Matt Kahn came up with, that was passed to me by Christina Martin, is to have the conversation with that person, with your opponent, and hear them say all the things that you wish they would say to you. Remember that this is just in your imagination, and that believing that this is happening doesn't actually mean that it's happening, and that when you talk to them again, they're not necessarily going to be at the same mental place as you put them in your imagination. So remember that that's the case. But if the other party is unwilling to resolve the conflict, you can do it in your own mind, and you can resolve the conflict within yourself, and you can come to a peaceful conclusion and a peaceful understanding. And in doing that, they might not have the conflict be resolved in their reality, but in your reality it will be. And for them, when they see you peacefully living and existing and not having this conflict bothering you, the energy of it, then they're going to be more willing to resolve the conflict as well. Let go of your attachment to the conflict. Let go of your attachment to the hardship. You think, but I need to have this conflict because it's protecting me, or it's making me right, or it's making me feel like I'm special. You are special, and you are right. But that doesn't mean that you need to hold on to the conflict. You can let it go, and you can just be those things. You don't need the conflict to be those things. You can let it go. You can let them be right even also, because everyone can be right. Everyone is right. If we looked at every conflict and we saw the underlying cause of it, we would realize that we're all talking about the exact same thing because we're all coming from source energy, we're all made of the exact same stuff. At the fundamental root of everything is the desire to be loved. Love and the desire to be loved, the desire to be understood. You know why two people scream at each other? It's because they're not being heard, they're not being understood. Raise your voice because you're like, listen to me. You're not listening to me. The desire to be understood is legitimate and it's strong, but you can also let go of your attachment to the desire to be understood, and you can just understand yourself. And just know that on the fundamental level, you're saying the same thing as the other person is saying. It's always down to love. I just want to be loved. I just want love. That's what everyone is always constantly saying. But I just want love. Oh yeah? Well, I want love too. Why are we fighting? You can talk to people, you can say, I understand that you are wanting me to understand you. I hear that you don't feel understood. I am going to do my best to hear you and to understand where you're coming from. Where are you hurting? I understand that you're hurting. When people lash out, when they're mean, when they're yelling, it's because they're in pain. If somebody's freaking out, it's because they're in pain. It's not because they're being manipulative. It might be manipulative in the sense that you might do things for them because they're in pain. And that might be the way that they learn how to shape their relationships because they don't know how else to shape their relationships. Narcissists, borderline personality disorder, these things happen because people who are narcissists and people who have borderline personality disorder in particular feel emotions stronger than other people for longer periods of time. Most people's emotions pass quickly, but for borderline personality and for narcissism, these emotions are long lasting and they hurt. And so when you're in such pain, you can start to understand why people act the way they do when they have these disorders. Because they're in so much pain and they literally don't know what to do to change it. And so they end up doing things that seem manipulative, even though in their mind, I don't think that anybody is like, other than maybe sociopaths, are trying to manipulate situations so they get anything other than to be out of pain. And I truly believe we can heal sociopaths as well. That can happen. I read a really good article about a sociopath who said the same sentiment that many sociopaths say, which is that he felt like a cat in a mouse's world. I think it's partly to do with intelligence. He felt like he could easily manipulate the people around him to get anything he wanted, and he had no social emotional remorse in doing so. But this person, in particular that this article is about, he realized the pain that he was causing everybody, and he didn't necessarily have an emotional connection to it, but he realized that since we're all connected, that it was in turn harming him as well. So he changed the game, and he changed the game to see if he could go about his life without manipulating anybody. And that satisfied him on the intellectual understanding that he had the control of the situation, but it brought it back to him in the sense that he didn't have to keep hurting anybody else or causing so much trouble around him. Even if he wasn't getting in trouble, he could live in peace, not having anything weighing him down, because the game was then just to trick himself into and control himself into not controlling anybody else. So I think that's marvelous. I think that's like a super profound, awesome breakthrough in the understanding of sociopaths and in understanding the abilities we have to heal these disorders. So whenever you have a conflict with somebody, that was a tangent, whenever you have a conflict with somebody, it's because, and if they're acting mean, they might need space, they might need love. Ask them, do you need space? Do you need love? How can I help you? And they might not even know because the pain might be too great. But just know that they're in pain. And you're in pain too. Acknowledge that. And instead of screaming at somebody that they're wrong, scream at them, I'm in pain. I'm in pain right now. You know, that might help you guys get to the bottom of the issue a little bit faster. So, to want to heal, that's all it takes. Make sure to subscribe and comment below with what you think about this and your experiences in healing, and maybe some tips or questions about how you have been held back in your healing journey. And by sharing those things and by reading the things that other people share, we can truly help one another create this healing community. Uni bless.